Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's Tuesday, October 19th, and welcome to the Township of Nipissing Council meeting. Number one on our agenda is disclosure of pecuniary interest. Anything to disclose? Nothing. So we will move on to staff reports. I believe we all have 2 staff reports now. In no particular order, I have John Paul Negrinati. Has been circulated, and we'll just look at it and see if anybody has a question. John Paul's here to answer those questions.
Looks like our new imagery is coming in soon. Like they've been kind of saying it's coming soon, but now I think we're getting really close.
And that comes from the M&R?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the bill's going to be around 2,000. That was Chisholm. They had a price for that. It's 2,200. So we're probably in that range. Which isn't too bad. A lot of people signed in with the program, so it'll be good.
Good.
Okay, if there are no questions for John Paul, we'll move on to Dan McGinnis.
Did you get a price?
On the asphalt? Yeah. We're not gonna do it that way.
Okay.
It was like $24,000 to asphalt that strip to bring it back up to grade. So we might as well just dig it and do it right. I was just hoping it was gonna be cheaper, to put a temporary fix on it, but we're gonna have to dig it and do it right.
Yeah.
It's still gonna be fairly expensive though. Just to dig it and gravel back in, it's gonna be $14,000.
And that'll be done before snow flies?
Yeah, but it probably won't get paved or chipped. Like, I mean, chipping, a chip seal, it'll bring the price up to 20,500, but can't guarantee they're gonna do it this year.
Okay.
And then we wanna do the work and put a 2-inch layer of asphalt on it, the price will be 31,000. I'm done. So I say we just dig it, leave it in a gravel for the winter, it'll freeze up, and then we'll deal with it next year when we do Birch Grove or whatever. We'll just have it run over and spray it.
Probably better off sitting for the winter.
Yeah,
Yeah. Settle it.
it'll be like I said, time we put the quarry B in, it'll stiffen that right up, and the geotech will help stiffen everything up. Your capital day gravel, it'll be fine for the winter. It's just it's a real hazard. It must have really dropped out this summer with the wet roads. It must be clay. This is about an 8-inch drop there. So we never get the snow off the roads and just throw the car.
How will that affect the budget, Kris?
We don't have any budget. There's been a couple of projects that were not budgeted because they were just.
They're surprised.
So we're looking at about maybe 20,000. No more. Doesn't get closer to it.
Is that culvert that you're small? That's another surprise.
Yeah.
It must let go of the road or something. I've asked the guys, none of them have you've never seen the pipe because it's always been underwater since they've been here. So now that even we've got the beaver dam, we got the ditch almost dry, you still can't see the culvert. So I don't know.
The low spot there.
Right. So we're just gonna have to, we've got the ditch lowered, dam it off and pump everything out over the dam, and then we'll just change the culvert. That, again, that'll be about 10,000. I think I got the price, yeah, $10,000.
So all of this is a product of the wet season.
Yeah, well, we did have, because we got a phone call when I first started here about the ruts in that section, but it was just real ruts. But now the whole quarter of the road is dropped, right, it pushed right out.
Good.
Well, if you're gonna do it, like you say, you might as well take your time and do it right.
Right. I was thinking maybe, I didn't realize how much asphalt it was gonna eat. I thought maybe we could fix it up for $6,000 and leave it for the winter and deal with it next year, but for that kind of money, we'll just do it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Makes
No,
sense.
I think that you're well advised to go that route. But again, these were things that weren't expected, so we'd be coming out of some reserve somewhere. Because we need the
Right,
roads.
It's okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we've got,
We have the reserve.
Yeah.
just in case This was supposed to, this was gonna happen, but we'll wait and see how the budget ends up.
Thank you for grading the road for me tonight.
I'm making it smooth for your way in.
well,
Like a red carpet.
Yeah.
you must have talked to the right guy, you grade my road. Somebody was asking about the speed bumps at the Wade's Landing.
Yeah, I see them.
I said, you guys slow down, you know, that's why we put it there.
We're gonna build it, grade it up there.
Well, it's soon to be snow and then we'll be fine.
That's why I want to get it filled before the snow.
Okay, even better. Any other questions for Dan? Okay. Fire Chief Bateman.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I've been working on the emergency plan, so we can get it up to date and brought to council hopefully in November. Just working on bylaws and policies and procedures. Just keeping us busy.
And you've all been working on the parking bylaw. And we've seen it. That'll come up tonight. Any questions for Will? Thank you. Kris Crosby.
Mine is all mixed in.
Yes, you're on the special copies. So that's
I had
great.
a colorful.
Okay, so then we'll go to committee reports and we'll start with Councilor Moore.
No, nothing. We canceled our last museum board meeting. We probably won't have one now till March or April. As far as the, James isn't here. We're getting ready for the Halloween night. They'll have the drive-through as usual. We did donate candy that was left from the museum to that or the Halloween give out. So that's that.
Good, good. Any questions for Councilor Moore? In that case, we'll move on to Councilor Marchant.
Nothing to report.
In that case, we'll move on to Councilor Kirk.
Wasson Library, you've got the minutes of the last meeting. So other than that, I don't have anything to report until our next meeting.
Okay, and we've all looked at those minutes, and I have nothing to report from East Home. It should be tomorrow, but it's backed off another week, so it's on the 27th, I believe, or 28th. It's on a different day, a different week, so I have nothing to report as well. So that brings us to number 4, adopt the minutes of the meeting held October 5th. So I need a mover and seconder, please. Councilor Marchant and Councilor Kirk. So it's our 2021-223, moved by Councilor Marchant, seconded by Councilor Kirky, that the minutes of the meeting held October 5th, 2021 be adopted as published. All in favor? Carried. Okay, the next one. This is an application, Michael and Margaret Kirby, for the purchase of a part, the original road allowance between concessions 12 and 13. I think you have it.
This was
In your
presented last
package.
year as well.
Yes, and we discussed this last year, and they've gone through this. And that's where the road takes a big jog over there. And they would like to buy the road allowance, which will give them enough room to have a full-size lot that they could build up. Right, now, the only thing is, we approve it in principle, but then we have to offer it to half to them and half to the abutting landowner. And if the abutting landowner chooses not to, then they could buy the whole road miles. So I just wanted to make sure we're all aware. So, yes,
Pardon me, are they are aware that we have to offer it to the abutting,
Yes.
yes,
the other landowner? Okay.
Yeah. as soon as we put it in principle, then we share that.
Yes,
We need
okay,
council
that's
to approve the principle so that we can start to investigate the options, so they can buy the products,
So I need a mover and a seconder for this, please. Councilor Moore, Councilor March. So it's number R 2021-224, moved by Councilor Moore, seconded by Councilor Marchant, that the council does approve in principle an application submitted by Michael and Margaret Kerwin for the purchase of part of the original road allowance between concessions 12 and 13 within Lot 1 in the Township of Nipissing, District of Perry Sound, subject to A, that the applicant will be responsible for the payment of all of the municipality's administrative, land, and legal costs in connection with the processing of the application, and B, the sale price of the land shall be $15 per lineal foot for the average width of said package. All in favor? Yeah. Okay, so we move on to, let's go to my agenda, which brings us to the 6th, to approve the investigation. And what it is an investigation. We're not saying this is going to happen, of an option to provide more flexibility to the proposed trailer bylaw. So we just want to look at this, but in order to do that, council has to give the staff, the allowed them to do that. So it's option 3 of a memorandum with MHBC planning, and where to permit travel of 10 trailers on shoreline lots with a minimum requirement of 30 meters from the shoreline of the lake, and to permit travel of 10 trailers on lots with a minimum plot area of 1 hectare. Okay, so that's more reasonable. I think we've all discussed this. And now, if we choose to vote in favor of this, then.
We begin the zoning bylaw amendment phase where we begin the public meetings.
Right. So I need a mover and a second. Okay, I'm going to go with Councilor Marchant and Councilor Kirky. So it's number R 2021-225, moved by Councilor Marchant, seconded by Councilor Kirky, that we approve option 3, dated August 9th, 2021, for the investigation of an option that provides more flexibility to the proposed trailer bylaw, and that we authorize MHBC to proceed with an amendment to the provisions of section 3.44 of the zoning bylaw to permit travel of 10 trailers on shoreline lots with a minimum requirement of 30 meters from the shoreline of a lake, and to permit travel of 10 trailers on lots with a minimum lot area of 1 hectare. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
This is the renewal.
Yes. Okay. This is mutual aid. We
The emergency management plan for mutual assistance.
provision of mutual aid and assistance during a declared emergency. And this is with, I did write it down,
Future.
all of the local townships, Bonfield, Callender, Chisholm, East Ferris, Nipissing, and Powassan. So that's just our aid agreement with all of them in case of emergency. And we do this usually once a
Well, we passed the original in 2016, but we missed the deadline to extend. So it's expired now, so we need to just really. This
Can
was
we go for
discovered,
3 or 4 years or?
yep, it was last done in 2016, so I think we're looking at a 5 years.
Good.
Okay, so I need a mover and second for this. Counselor Kirky and Counselor Moore.
It still has to be signed by all of the,
Yes, and we've
Townships.
heard back from, we took the lead on the last one too, so we've heard back from Watson and Chisholm that they are both willing to sign. We're just waiting for the rest of the municipalities and then we'll get signatures.
Makes sense, they sign.
Yeah, definitely. So it's number R 2021-226, moved by Counselor Kirky, seconded by Counselor Moore, that we authorize the mayor and municipal administrator to sign the renewal of a mutual assistance agreement for the provision of mutual aid and assistance during a declared emergency as provided in each municipal emergency plan. All in favor? Okay, this is what we talked about the last time. This is just an employment contract with the municipal administrator. So we're down to number 8. And this is the agreement that we didn't have, but Peggy has now submitted it to us. Chris has looked it over. Peggy has looked it over.
None of the terms have changed from what the originals.
So we need a mover and a seconder to question.
no.
Oh, just thought you, that questioning. Okay, so in which case we need a mover and a seconder. Okay, we'll go with Councilor Moore and Councilor Kirky. So it's number R 2021-227, moved by Councilor Moore, seconded by Councilor Kirky, that we authorize the mayor to sign an employment contract with the municipal administrator, and that we authorize Peggy Young Lovelace to witness the signatures of the agreement on behalf of the township of Nipissing. All in favor? Carried. Now, a witness one. Okay, parking bylaw. This is big and we have lots of staff here with new haircuts to discuss it. So I know we've all had a chance to look at it. We saw it the last time, but if there's any questions that you might have. My one question, just to interrupt, was if we go with the parking bylaw and move the boat ramp, how much water is there if you're gonna run a boat ramp, but that has nothing to do with the parking bylaw. We're just looking at parking and access. Right. So my question is unfounded.
It will come up later.
It will.
When we decide to move forward with it in the summer.
Right.
We just need to set the parking guidelines for that.
The other thing on enforcement, that was something that Kris pointed out to me. And I'll ask her to point out to you as well.
Just, we left a provision in there for voluntary payment of the fine. So when the ticket is issued, they have the opportunity to come to the township office for a lower amount and pay it there before we have to receive a provincial offense.
City of North Bay does the same thing.
Yeah.
They go all this power.
Yes.
Yeah, I had that firsthand experience as well, parking a fire lane in front of Walmart. So yes, if you go over quickly, you can save yourself
a bit of
I've
money.
saved myself a couple of times.
Only once.
Also included in this package, there's a request for expression of interest that we'll be sending out to the local tow companies. So whoever would like to be on our list. Our plan is to have 3 companies that will be available at all times, and we'll work through the list in order each time we need. So everybody gets an equal opportunity.
Yeah, we don't want to tow company fight like they're having downside.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
And we can explain that in our expression of interest, so everyone understands how we want to operate.
So with the tow companies, we also explained to them that if there is infighting among them, they will be struck from the list.
We'll just re-advertise our expression of interest and revise our list is all we'll do. But the way that it will work is if we call company number 1, if for whatever reason they're not available, we'll need to company number 2. And then we'll leave a mark there. And the next time, we'll call number 3. And we'll just move through it and try to keep it as fair as possible.
So are there any other questions? If not, I'll ask for a mover and a seconder. Okay, Councillor Marchant, Councillor Moore. And I'd like to thank the staff for doing all the work on this, because if you're around any of these roads and in the summer, and I run into it more in the wintertime, and watching the township snowplow try to back out between X number of cars, I think this needs to be done, so.
You have 38 turnarounds, 37 turnarounds?
Something like that. A lot.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I counted them and I kind of went out and looked at a few of them, but
And they're not big turnarounds. They're all tight.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a few of them that you turn a plow around in there.
Then you get all the snow in there and then like it really becomes super tight.
Yeah.
And in the past, we've left letters if there's been a car there. We try to communicate with people, but we have repeat offenders, so we need to be able to enforce.
So the driver would get out and put a letter on the windshield of the car. The guy would take it off and throw it in the snowbank. And 2 days later, he'd get the same letter again and he'd throw it in the snowbank again. So this time, hopefully, they will take it more seriously. We'll have signage.
Yeah, we're gonna get signage. And the other thing is people come to the hunt camps, they just park and they're gone for a week.
Yeah.
So they don't see the notes and then we get snow and then it just keeps building and keeps pushing us over. Like it's very tight to get, even with one vehicle with no snow, it's very tight to get by with the plow.
Just the liability, trying to get past that vehicle where you're inches away from scraping the car or sliding into the ditch. It's just not worth it to the plow operator.
When it comes to putting the plow in the ditch, it's an
Yeah.
option, you put the car. there.
Yeah, but it's not fair to the plow operators to have to stress over
Yeah, oh no.
putting it in the ditch versus hitting the car.
We even had last year, 5 days, the mail couldn't be delivered because somebody cleared out how people clear in front of their mailbox.
Yes.
So these guys parked in front of the mailbox for 5 days, and I called Canada Post and they went, well, no bills for 5 days.
Yeah.
And that was the answer. I said, yeah, okay, there's nothing. And they said, nope, that's a municipal problem, So we're gonna share this and we're gonna hopefully rectify the problem. So it's number R 2021-228. It's moved by Councilor Marchant, seconded by Councilor Moore, that we pass bylaw number 2021-50, being a bylaw to regulate the parking of vehicles within the corporation of the township of Nipissing. We have a first, second, and third time and passes 19th day of October 2021. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we'll move on to correspondence. So as Councillor Kirky pointed out, the minutes of the Flossie District Union Public Library Board. Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks regarding made under the Conservation Authorities Act. And if you read that, the suggestion is, just to find,
The last point, where we removed the requirement for conservation authorities to have community advisory boards. So we haven't heard anything yet.
Yeah.
To hear from them.
Yeah, I had that highlighted as well.
that is the only thing that has anything to do with us.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know, but I would have an issue with having no community advisory boards. It takes away the say of the communities.
But on the board of directors of the Conservation Authority, there is usually a person from each municipality there.
Mhm.
So you have your
I
municipality.
think
as
every
one-
municipality has a rep on it.
in the-
Plus, there's members of large from the public that are voted in on the board of directors.
So basically, we're waiting for direction here to see what they're going to
We
do.
don't,
Okay,
we don't have one on the board of directors because we're not really in that area.
That's right.
okay.
But we do on the source water because of the South River, but we're not in the Conservation Authority here.
Oh, okay. Right, okay, well, that clarifies that.
As we get more information and how it will affect everything, I'll bring that forward, but we just haven't heard from them as of
Oh, okay.
Okay, and the next one was from from Phenom, consolidation of agencies to address the opioid mental health addiction support resolution from the township of Perry. Again, the ministry is looking, as in the province of Ontario, is looking at this consolidation. It's come from some pretty major players in this so far. So my suggestion is we wait and see, but it looks like they're going to do the consolidation, whether or not we suggest they do it. So they're going to amalgamate a number of these because everybody has identified an opioid crisis. So we can support Perry or we can just wait. And
Why would we be waiting?
because the government's already going to do it.
Yeah. So why not go supporting them?
I mean, we can, we can support Perry.
I
But
was, but,
the city of Toronto's already done it.
yeah,
But we can, if that's true, if that's your interest, we can certainly put it on the next one and we can support them for their resolution to amalgamate some of these. So,
yeah, I say we support it. And
Yeah,
it's an issue
can't
all
wait.
over.
Yeah,
And whether we're supporting Harry or whoever, whether Toronto has it, I
right,
think the more voices that are heard, the better at the end of the day.
put that on the next agenda.
which also comes to the next resolution that I think we should have as well. Increase Township of Scugog has requested increased funding from provincial and federal governments for major bridge and culvert replacements. No township can pay for bridges out of there, and Dan is agreeing, so I think we need to support this. The government has to help us if they want us to maintain these huge bridges and culverts.
Well, even though our big, like, we got those 8 big culverts, and they're gonna be $400,000 or $500,000 a crack to change. And they're all gonna come due at the same time. They're all at the end of their life, pretty well, in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And they're all gonna come due all around the same time.
So you add those to Hummel Bridge.
Right.
Yes.
And then on the Rosebud Bridge.
Yeah.
I mean, Butterfield Bridge.
So we'll put that down as a resolution for the next one
Yeah.
because
yeah.
definitely we need that. Now, the next one AMCTO regarding municipal and school board election day 2022. The request for local school boards to declare voting day a professional development day. If you voted where I did at the Nipissing School,
I voted here.
well, you
Yeah.
voted early.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, on voting day, it was at the school, and you went from the parking lot around the front of the building, down the side of the building, and
I
into the
heard,
back of the
I
building.
heard a lot of people complaining.
And again, it's to keep you away from students, keep you away from them. And we understand this. The thing is, there's going to be 2 elections next year. About a year from now is the municipal election.
Yeah.
And next spring is going to be the provincial election. The schools have always been the spot on election day. So, do we support saying, you'd have 10 professional development days. Could you not take one off on those 2 election days? So,
It makes sense, especially when it's part of the school board elections.
yes, and it is part of the school board elections, and I had no issue, but a lot of people did have an issue, and a lot of seniors had an issue, and if it was a rainy October night,
Yeah.
it would have been quite difficult. I don't even know if there would have been lighting back there.
Municipal election November, so it could even be
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. The one's in June, right?
June
The
2nd.
provincial-
June 2nd.
I thought the municipal one was in October.
I don't have my calendar in front of me.
I thought it was November 22nd.
I thought it was October 22nd.
I thought it was October.
Maybe, I thought I heard something November.
Yeah.
and then
You're just,
Yeah,
Maybe it's October.
I thought it was October.
It's next
We
year.
should remember, you were out there in the cold with the big lights on and
yep.
with your name plaque out there.
And until a truck driver told me he was gonna run me down.
Yeah,
It was Dan.
yeah,
So he worked for another jurisdiction. Anyway,
Our township has requested this from the Nipissing School Board.
so
Yeah.
we will request this from the
Yeah.
Nipissing School Board and see how it goes. And number 6,
It's no, October 24th.
24th.
Yeah, there we go.
I thought I heard November, but October 24th.
So 1 year from approximately this meeting. And thank you, Tom, for that. Number 6, Ontario Good Roads, information on it. It's going to be in
In
person.
person, and the room started looking today.
wow.
So, Dan, you can contemplate that. And rural Ontario municipality, the old Roma, is virtual. So we want to go to that. It's virtual again, so I'll up to a computer.
And there's just different registration rates, so the early bird rate, we're not there for 75.
So we'll just put that out there for everybody that is interested. And we will, regarding opioids, culvert replacement, and we'll talk to the Nipissing School Board for sure. Okay. I think that was everything in correspondence. Is there any questions about anything else in correspondence? So we'll adopt it. So we need a mover and seconder, Councillor Kirky and Councillor March. It's number R 2021-229, moved by Councillor Kirky, seconded by Councillor Marchant, that we accept the correspondence as presented. All in favor? Carried. Accounts to pay. So everybody had a chance to look over it. This is slim pickings compared to the last couple. But James isn't here tonight to bear the brunt of it, so I need two more, Counselor Moore and Counselor Kirk.
It's a small one, Steve.
It is a small one. It's number R 2021-230, moved by Counselor Moore, seconded by Counselor Kirky, that the statement of accounts dated October 6th, 15th, and 19th, 2021, totaling $60,753.98 be approved. All in favor? Carried. Now, just thought you're going to get away. Had to amend the agenda twice. Information that came to us at a late date, so we will be moving now to closed session. So I need to move over in the seconder, Councillor Marchant and Councillor Kirk.
Operations Superintendent Kris, will you join us for closed session this evening?
So it's number R 2021-231, moved by Councillor Marchant, seconded by Councillor Kirk. This part of our meeting will be closed to the public as authorized by section 2392 of the Municipal Act 2001 C25 for consideration of the following subject matter. B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. And C, at proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board. All in favor at 7:08.